Hey, folks, welcome back to the after show where we talk about things LawCal Live and other LawCal topics. Most recent thing that's happened, just happened today, was the drop for Tommy getting an NDA from Keemstar.
Ooh.
That's kind of late in the game to be saying, hey, shut up, Tommy.
That's not just an NDA either.
I was going to say, truth be told, I think all of them got it. I'm pretty sure
Wings
Boogie
got
and
it too.
signed
Yeah.
it because
No, actually,
did hear
Wings
something
didn't
about-
sign it. Wings didn't sign it.
Wings
Yeah,
signed
I've heard
it.
that
Okay.
thought he
Wings
said he
said-
did.
No.
No, Wings was upset with it too.
Wings was upset with it too. He just didn't blast Keemstar on it like Tommy did.
Hey, he should have.
Interesting.
He should have.
Even
Interesting.
Tommy,
Oh, yeah.
even Wings, when he was talking to Chud Logic, went ahead and said that if they had an issue with it, if they, as in Wings and Tommy, what they should have done is they should have redlined it and then sent it back. But you're talking about Wings, the dude who literally wouldn't have spent $1 on like getting the medical information on Boogie. He like, you remember when Keem tried giving him that layup and he was like, how much would you spend? And Wings was like, not a fucking penny. So,
It was hilarious, bro.
So you really think he's going to spend money on a lawyer for an NDA?
No.
Well, the thing
Keem
is,
also has some real balls to be saying, "Oh, well, you should redline what you don't like," when he hasn't even fucking read it.
Dude, exactly.
He admitted he hasn't read it himself.
He's trying to
Well, here's the
high
thing.
road these other guys. Sorry, Ken. I'll let you go
ahead.
next. He's trying to high road guys who've never worked with NDAs, saying, "Oh, here's what the process should be like for doing an NDA. You have to do it professionally in this specific way," as if he doesn't do all of his stuff over Twitter. Apparently, he tried to hire DSP in the first place over Twitter rather than in some sort of professional communication. Go ahead, Ken.
Well, you remember when ESP and Keem were on the Side Scrollers podcast when they were doing their big DSP interview, whatever you want to call it. And Keem even said content creators don't email. That's for like lawyers and managers. Content creators, you know, I hate saying DM. I'm just going to say direct message. They direct message each other. You know what I mean? And to the other point, what I was going to say is, if you've watched Tommy at any kind of bit or even seen kind of like his back catalog, he trashes NDAs, and he always brings up NDAs and how they're problems. Not really how they're problems, but just how it can get a little flaky.
Well, it doesn't
particularly
look
with
good.
Well, he was bringing up the Dr. Disrespect NDA,
Right, exactly.
and how I think like a few, like what was like 2018 or 2020 when they actually like all settled out and they signed the NDAs to like not talk about it, and then they had the leak. That's what I'm saying. Like, Tommy is way too familiar with the subject of an NDA. So to send Tommy something while he's on vacation, no less, to sign this, like he's not going to look at it and pay attention. Like, bro, fuck you. The other thing is, last point I'm going to make, if it's only for financials, like they've been saying, I don't know if Tommy has too much, but I will say all of them have talked about financials on the show. I mean, Wings, for God's sakes, fucking brought out the calculator on his phone and started deducting YouTube's cut, Uncle Sam's cut, South Carolina tax cut, to show how much he makes per membership or per pay pig or donation or whatever. So all of them have done it. So that's my last point.
The first time that Keem has been called out for doing it is only recently with the Boogie and CoffeeZilla controversy, where Boogie told Coffee, "I'm not getting paid because this trip's coming out of our pockets." But Keem's been talking about financials for much longer than that. He covered financials like I remember very early on. He said, "This is the first time I'm getting paid. I've not been getting paid for this show." So even way back when, he's revealing
That's true.
financial
I mean,
information.
that's part of the issue, right? I mean, like, he went on Twitter and he's essentially sending these NDAs and trying to essentially chastise Tommy and NickDeorio for talking about money, but literally, it's all of the cows. Boogie's done it, Keem's done it. Like, he needs to hold the same standard that he's having issues with. Now, he says that the NDA is for financial reasons or financial secrecy or whatever the fuck it was. But realistically, that's not what the NDA says. You can even see it on the front page. Like,
So
it's
I was
not
actually going to bring
just
that
about
up. I was actually going to bring that up. Everyone has seen it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I've looked it
okay.
up.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and actually bring this up right now, so that way we can, go over it. Let me drop this down. Do you guys see me zooming in?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
you're good.
continue, Zeph.
Oh no, yeah, my point was that was
Okay,
good. You're
so
good.
that's
Continue.
exactly what I was going to do. So the reason why I said that it's not just an NDA, it is an open-ended NDA, which means that unlike Dr. Disrespect, there is no set date and time in which it actually goes null and void, which means that they could sign it and Tommy could get fired the next day. And for the remainder of Tommy's existence, if he were to speak out against it without being a confidential informant, he could be sued and held for whatever ramifications is within it. It has no time limit. At least from this single page here that we have, that is what it seems to be the case. Now, the other thing about it is that as somebody, I have a very limited knowledge. I'm not pretending to be a lawyer or anything, but as somebody who did watch and has watched a multitude of actual like court cases, the best one or most recent one being the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard case, they go over what is attorney client and work product confidentiality and what follows under it, and discussing income, like for how much money is being made, specifically follows under workplace property or what's it called, workplace confidentiality. Now, as Tommy said, if it was specifically just for the money, why wasn't it work product? Why wasn't it economics? Why wasn't it like financial discussion? Why wasn't it specifically done to that? And just to like your guys' point to bring up, if Keem, how can Keem turn around and call Tommy a liar if he himself hasn't even read the damn thing? How does he know that it's not an open-ended contract? How does he know that it's not covering more than just financials? Is that what he was told? And if it was what he was told, why didn't he do the exact same thing he told Boogie to do and show proof of it? He could have just called his lawyer on stream and asked him, hey, what are the details of this NDA?
Well,
Well, it
prior
gets even worse than that, because I believe in that very same stream there was some discussion how he was going to penalize financially the other members of the show for talking about the finances. So like they'd get like a dock their pay for talking about it publicly, and that's like you're doing the very thing you're accused of doing in the first place. Like this is all stemmed recently from saying, hey, you're not paying these guys because of Boogie telling Coffee he wasn't getting paid, and now he wants to take money.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting thing, though, man. So if you look at it, it's Keemstar LLC or whatever the company name is. So if all of them are supposed to be 25% owners, I think personally they're all part of that LLC for tax purposes and all that other stuff. So what I personally think is when it comes to the money end of it, remember Wings brought up that he cannot see analytics. So he had to get, part of the thing with him was Boogie was supposed to send him screenshots of the analytics. So that way, because he was in the dark of how much he was going to, of what the split was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting to me that if they're all supposed to be part owners, but they're all under the umbrella of Keemstar LLC, how does that exactly work? As far as like ownership between the four of them under the umbrella of the LLC, because LLC is good for tax write-offs. It's good for like tax benefits and all that. That's the main purpose of it as far as owning a business. But if Keemstar LLC owns the show, outside from Keem, how does the other three even own 25% of it? That's
Well, they
how I'm
don't.
looking at it as well.
They don't. That's part of what has come out through this. Like
They're
Tommy has
employees.
revealed that there are no shares. That
Yeah,
the
but
shares
this whole
are
entire time, Keem has been saying that he bought out Boogie shares and all this other stuff. So all that was a lie.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
because
all a
if
lie.
there was shares, that would mean
Beautiful.
that it has to actually be a company or some sort of like some sort of propriety, some sort of entity. Keemstar LLC is just simply, if I were to make my own, like Kmplxity LLC, it's just a way for me to be able to pay people with giving a tax write-off or having it be in some sort of a taxable thing. And it's actually funny because video games, I don't know if you know, I'm sure you guys know who Brandon is, video games. He actually had to shell out $500 to me for losing a bet. So I actually had to do dealings with his LLC company. And even though he was using an LLC, he was still utilizing paying methods like Venmo. He didn't have Cash App, but, you know, like money sending applications. And this is exactly what I was bringing it back to when I said they're making the money. And I know I'm not like speculating here about Keemstar trying to pull something over the IRS's eyes, but they're making the money, and it's Keemstar who's choosing the dividends, like the deviation of that money to them, right? So Wings was right to ask, like, well, what are we making? Because shit's not adding up. And then who went ahead and called Wings out and tried to accuse him of accusing Keem about lying about the money? He flat out told Wings, like, you are trying to accuse me of stealing money from you. And Wings is like, no, just the figures that Boogie was giving out wasn't making sense when you do the calculations.
Yeah, and how
It seems
interesting that Boogie has more access than Wings,
Right.
right?
Yeah. You
Oh,
think that they'd all have access to the YouTube channel, right?
That shows me that behind the scenes, Boogie and Keem are working very tightly close together, right? And Keem's trusting Boogie because they're doing the scripted content together. He knows he could trust Boogie because Boogie is keeping the lie. He's not revealing that the show is fake, that the script is writ, that this is all an act.
Boogie's done a terrible job of it, though. You have to admit
I
that.
do have
I don't
one
know.
devil's advocate point to make. Tommy has access to the channel. He has to because he was reading super chats coming in when he was hosting the streams. And he hosted the streams in the first place.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was going to build off of that and say that I guarantee you the number one thing that Keem is going to say as to why Wings doesn't have it access is because he does not want Wings to screenshot it or put it out there, right? Because we all know if there's one person who's going to go ahead and be like, I'm not lying about money, it's going to be Wings. But
it is.
I want to bring up a single line here, which is defined under confidential informant. Now, remember, the only way to break this contract as it stands is to become a confidential informant. And the one line I want to read off is other business information disclosed to receiving party by the company in any manner whatsoever, either directly, indirectly in writing, orally, or machine readable form. Meaning that if any information was given to somebody by anyone within the company, whether written or verbally, you do not have the ability to speak about it.
Here's the thing, though. I wonder who's going to have the balls to bring this up on the next live at the next show to question
I bet
this,
Tommy.
because
I bet Tommy.
Oh yeah, Tommy's gonna. They'll probably be fighting about it the second Tommy gets back into his office from vacation.
Probably.
Well, no, I'm saying as far as like, you know, the other three really don't own 25% of the show. I mean, it's here in black and white. It's very clear that's the case.
Right.
Who's going to say that?
Oh,
Who's
I think Tommy and Wings would
live?
speak up about it immediately.
Yeah, no, Tommy has always stated, and I don't know if you guys have watched SFTP or anything, but he has been asked multiple times on SFTP if they're doing KayFabe, and he said that he will be fired before he does it. Like, he will be kicked off the show before he ever engages in KayFabe because SFTP has been there for him. And he even tweeted it. He even said, you know, SFTP family has kept me afloat and outlived Baited for the one reason and one reason only. We don't fake drama, you know, and you got to respect that. And Keemstar's not, Keemstar's not wrong when he says everybody engages in a little bit of KayFabe. The problem is that, yes, but doing hey guys, how you doing? What's going on today? Everybody did it, right? That is very different from, all right, Boogie, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the police on you, right? I'm going to need you to act a little freaking
Oh
weird.
yeah.
And then I'm also going to take
Oh,
a
yeah.
video that has no audio whatsoever. So nobody really knows what you're saying. You know, that's different. Now, again, I'm not saying that's what happened, but
Yeah, okay. I was say I don't think he would. I want to be optimistic and say I don't think that they would do anything illegal. I don't think they would call the cops and waste police resources to make this look good or some shit
God, I
like
hope
that.
not.
well,
bro.
see,
That'd be
I hope
awesome.
not.
here's the thing though. It doesn't, you
That's
don't
also a
need,
crime.
it is, but you don't need two people in order to make a scene, right? It could simply have been like Boogie could easily turn around and go, well, like Keemstar was talking about how good it was that all of this was going on. So I wanted to play it up. That's what I thought he wanted. So I went really, really crazy with it. And Keemstar could very easily turn around and be like, I had no idea he was faking. It didn't look like he was faking. I legitimately thought he was trying to kill himself, blah, 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 blah. And it's going to just be a he said, she said situation. And you can't move forward on that as far as legal terms
Well, here's
go.
the thing, though. The thing is, though, how do you define scripted? Because, I mean, if it's just reading off a docket and reacting to it, that's not really scripted. I mean, yeah, the docket could technically, quote unquote, be scripted. But to me, the way I see it is, I think when Keem initially brought Destiny on, I think that was scripted and planned.
Oh, it was. It was.
But
That
the
part
real
was
question
definitely
is going to
planned,
be,
but the reaction.
but here's the
wasn't.
thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though. Do you think Keem knew Boogie really did not have cancer and this was all a big work?
No. I don't think
No.
that. I don't think that. What I think is that.
Still does. Still does.
Okay, well, let's hear from the one person who does think that.
So if you recall, it was maybe a few months ago, Boogie was talking about how he doesn't have money for certain medical tests, and Keem was making an offer of, I'll pay for your tests. Like, what do you need? Okay. I assume they had some kind of offline conversation, and Keem's a smart guy. He figured out through talking to Boogie for any length of time about his medical problems that, oh shit, this guy doesn't actually have cancer. He probably figured out through a conversation early on, like, Boogie, you don't actually have cancer, do you? And it's like, okay, well then this is gonna come out at some point, so let's be the ones to have it come out. And we're going to orchestrate having one of your detractors come on and attack you for it, and then you're just not going to give anything. Don't give any proof. Don't give any evidence. Say that it's your right to privacy, and that's all you have left. We'll use that, okay? And then we'll have it break down and have you reveal after a time that, yeah, you've been faking cancer. And then we'll do some kind of token punishment and let you back on the show. Don't worry. Maybe we'll even like fire you, but it'll be temporary. You're going to get paid. You don't have to worry about that. Like we'll get it over with within the pay period. Don't worry about a thing. And then on Boogie's, that's the script. On Boogie's end, Boogie's taking that script and those coaching directions and just going too far a few times. So like the knife, that's too far. The overreacting so that Keem has to call the cops, that's taking it too far. Like maybe he was supposed to call and have an argument on the phone that he was going to leak. But then, he just went way too far with it. He just keeps hamming it up far too much to the point that Keem's having to do the obvious things, like he has to call the police, right?
Well, entirely possible, but my thing here is that, so let's just put it out there. We've said it on the last episode, but we'll say it again. There's already been talks on Kiwi Farms that through the Freedom of Information Act, multiple people have requested the body cam footage. And if that body cam footage does end up leaking and getting out, and it is not exactly and he is not acting exactly the way Keemstar described him, it's a wrap. I think it's going to be a big wrap for a lot of people. Not entirely the show, obviously. It's pulling 20K at this point. But if they get the body cam footage and they open it up and he's just like, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, yeah, no, I was having a really bad day, It's like, okay, how are you going to turn around and say this isn't KayFabe?
Well, if you're looking for evidence that it's kayfabe, Tommy says it is. He says it's scripted. He says he won't sign the NDA because the only reason to have it is because this recent scripted content has done so good for the show, and Keem wants to bring more of the guys into the scripted content and not have anyone leak the scripted content. And there it is. Like one of the hosts of the show is saying that it's scripted content, and he's not going to do it. And also, that's what the NDA is about.
Right.
Look, here's the thing, though. If you remember in Tommy's video before he went on vacation, he said he knew something was coming down the pipeline that he couldn't talk about. Y'all think this is it? Like the whole like Boogie face tattoo and all that other shit? Like, I don't know if that's it, but I don't know what the hell Tommy was talking about, because if Tommy isn't going to be a part of the scripted content, he literally left and then it went full script. Like, and Tommy was not involved, and Tommy could always say, I was on vacation. I wasn't involved. I wasn't on the show.
But you got to think about... Go ahead.
I was going to say is his hands are clean. His hands are clean on the last 2 episodes.
Right.
He may have been talking about Destiny versus Brian. He could have been talking. I was thinking he could have been talking about that.
The brother.
But as far as the last from the tattoo episode and the 2 episodes before that, Tommy wasn't involved with. So he could always put his hands up and say, hey, I wasn't there. I was on vacation. Don't look at me.
True.
You know what I mean?
But
like
if there's
a lot of it is just not adding up. A lot of it's just not adding up.
Right. No, I agree with you. But let's be honest. If there's one person who's going to say, do it, pussy, it's going to be Tommy. So the fact that he wasn't there for all the suicide baiting, I'm just saying, it's like, it's entirely possible as to the reason why Tommy has called out both Wings and Boogie on their BS time and time again. And it's very obvious. It's obvious that he has no problem going to bat with Keemstar as well. So imagine Keem trying to get all of this stuff done, behind the scenes. Again, speculation. And Tommy's right there on the next live going, what is this? What's going on? Like, this is stupid. That's dumb. Like, he doesn't care enough about it to engage in kayfabe like that. At least not from what it looks like. And he was the very first person to speak out the moment he knew that it was in some way, shape, or form planned, because he even admitted and said that NickDeorio is the one who gave him the heads up on the Destiny thing. When Destiny jumped on.
Lex, what was the NickDeorio tweet you put in the chat? What was it? When Keem was talking about money and how Keem could, I guess, why is Keem saying stuff about money when he's the one that was talking about it?
Oh, yeah. So what happened is that apparently there was some sort of misunderstanding as to where NickDeorio got his figures for the show. Keem or Tommy believed that it was NickDeorio who told Keem that he was the one who made the money, like that they were making $10K per person. When in actuality, Nick was watching Locale Live and got the figures from Keemstar. And then Keem turned around and said the only reason why he even gave any figures is because Boogie told CoffeeZilla that they weren't making any money. So it's like, it seems a whole lot like the congressional hearing. People are just going to go ahead and pass the buck over and over again, man.
Blame deflection.
Yeah.
This is all blame deflection.
It sounds
Zeph,
like...
what are your thoughts? You've been quiet.
Let's hear what Zeph has to say.
Zeph said...
You've been quiet. Say something.
Zeph said that he was going to be back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you want to know that this is a work, very early on, Boogie was saying, Keem's telling me to play the villain. And then look, who's playing the villain right now? Who's the big villain? The guy who was told to play the villain. What a surprise. What a shocker that, we're going to have him do the bad things, and he's the guy being told, hey, be bad. Be the heel.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But allow me to quote the tweet, and I'll throw it up there too. So NickDeorio responding to Keem said, I think there is a misunderstanding. I think you were the one who shared the financials, you being Keem, financial information on one of your recent streams. If you said the show made 10,000, it's not unreasonable to divide that 5 ways for an estimate. which isn't, it's right. It's true. Keem, again, one of the biggest things that people have an issue with when it comes to Keem trying to pass the buck is he didn't have to disclose anything. He could easily have just said, Boogie's getting paid. That's it. But I understand. I was just going to say, I understand his frustration and wanting to give, like, I don't want to say boast about the numbers, but it kind of seems like, I mean, every single time he's just like, you're getting paid. This pays for your mortgage. And I'm like, but well, then if it pays for his mortgage, we know he's making at least $2,000. And now if we multiply that by 5, that's 10 grand, Keem. Like, you telling us that it pays for his mortgage is more than enough money, or is more than enough information to estimate what everyone's making, or at least a good figure.
Well, think about this though. If Keemstar LLC owns the show, how much is Keemstar LLC making? To be, I guess, the DBA, the doing business as. How much is the LLC making off the show, and then the rest is given to the other 4?
Yeah, we have to remember. Keem has gone on multiple times saying that he has been paid a dime. He hasn't been paid a dime, but he's never specified about his company, Keem LLC.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because the LLC has operating costs, it has management, it has lawyers, it has all this other shit. You know what I mean? So the other thing I was going to say is, a lot of this, I'm not going to say the NDA conversation is scripted, but it seems like the next arc to move past Boogie and then bringing in Tommy as he's coming off from vacation. So when Tommy gets back, he has something to talk, or they have something to talk about with Tommy. It's not just, all right, everybody, let's get back to docket reading, because numbers are going to drop so fucking hard if they just go back to docket reading. I'm sorry, they just are.
That's true. But even with the NDA conversation, whenever Keem is not sticking to the same story that Tommy has, Keem was saying, if you have a problem with the NDA, we should handle it professionally. We'll go back and forth. Tommy saying that he raised a problem with the NDA and Keem just refused. He did not say, well, redline it and send it back to me and we'll go back and forth.
That is also true.
Yeah, Tommy said that he refused, and that's why he then took it to Twitter.
Mm-hmm. So anything that we're talking about will be in the links in the description above or below, and also some of them will be spliced into the video as well. But he did come out and with a video on Twitter responding to one of our own, ChillForce here, stating that he brought up that issue and did not get it didn't seem as though Keem was willing to work or make any amendments to the NDA, which is also very suspicious, because how again are you not willing to make amendments to the NDA if you've never even read it? Imagine you signing an NDA your lawyer wrote up for you and it, just fucks you, right? Like, you are you really going to sign something you've never read? It
makes it look really incompetent. It makes it look extremely incompetent.
Keem can't read right though. Like,
that's
not read that right. He
that
cannot read correctly.
You ever see him?
It takes 5 seconds. Hey, whoa! That's an excuse. It takes 5 seconds to call Brantley in and be like, "Hey, can you read this for me real quick?"
I'm just saying.
Or call his lawyer that literally wrote it up and said, "Hey, can you read this for me?"
Right. That's exactly what I even said. Like, and this is what I see happening, right? This is exactly, if he really wants to capitalize on this, the next episode, Keemstar brings on his lawyer to defend the NDA, and it's just all of them sitting there. That'll bring views. I'm gonna come on. It'll definitely bring views.
Definitely.
And
it would, but Jesus Christ,
it would be something else, right? But it's just,
I don't see commentators covering an NDA like they covered Boogie faking cancer, though.
No, I don't either. But you know what it will do? It will make people question whether or not the whole Boogie cancer thing was KayFabe or not. That they will cover. So they may not give a damn about the NDA. What they do care about is the juicy details that everyone is assuming Keemstar is trying to keep quiet right now. Because we have to remember that NDA covers any and all group chats, whether it's Keemstar and Wings and Tommy, and that entire DM, if they even speak one word of business in it, let's say personal DMs, right? Like me and Chill are talking daily, and then we had an NDA and I said something about the after show in there. At that point, our entire DMs is now locked under perjury of being sued because it falls under work product. So it's just a blanket.
Know, man. It's a lot, bro. Especially being open-ended with no date on it, like that. That alone is fucked up. Because I mean,
bro, that's some Crossroads devil shit right there. Like, I'm going to, at some point in time, I'm coming back to get I'm gonna do this for you now, and then in the future I may call upon you later. You know what I'm saying? Like that's some Crossroads shit.
I'm gonna sue you for every dollar you made.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sue you for every dollar. You know what I mean? But here's my thing: if Twitch and Dr. Disrespect had an NDA for what, like 2 or 3 years
something
on
like
talking to a minor, like, bro, and we're not even at that level on this show yet, and you're talking about open-ended one. Like, give me a fucking break.
But they're
the NDA is.
Go ahead, Joe.
The NDA is one thing, but the reason behind the NDA is what makes it so juicy, and it's the claim that Kino Casino, that a lot of the viewers, that Dark Side Phil has made, which is that the show's scripted. It's a scripted show. Yeah. It's fake. And so Keem is really trying to get on top of that and really trying to tamper that down. He's always reacted wildly to it every time that he's heard it because he knows that it kills the show, right? If it ever gets out that it's scripted.
Right.
And so that's the NDA.
You know what's funny is that he won't take his own words of advice to Wings and Boogie. Just don't respond. How many times on the show has he told Wings and Boogie, I'm tired of hearing you cry about the trolls, just don't respond to them. But here he is stopping yard work to get on Chud Logic and argue with Chud, NickDeorio, freaking Zazman, or whatever his name is, I forget. And it's like, dude, I respect Keem for a lot of different things, but man, you took an L on that stream, bro. You didn't want to answer any questions. You just started yelling when you were getting pressed. And then you didn't even answer the one question about, is some of it a work that that the other guy asked. He just started screaming. And then he turned around and goes, oh, do you do a work? Do you do a work? Do you do a work? Answer the question. Do you do a work? And it's like, all right, Destiny. Like, come on, man. Like, you know how to argue better than that.
Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Right.
I have no idea what you just said.
I understood it.
Well, that's that jarhead brain coming back to haunt you.
That's a good segue, not me.
Logic, bro.
That's a good segue, though. Someone else who's very recently called it out for being scripted that Keem has responded to in a crazy way is Dark Side Phil. He on his little live stream said that, it's a fake scripted show and you can tell that it's fake. And anyone who believes that it's not fake is an idiot. And I agree. And Keem has threatened Dark Side Phil with a lawsuit.
Yep.
We're going to have another lawsuit coming.
And that's so dumb, man. It's first of all, it wouldn't even be a criminal lawsuit, right? It would go fall under civil suit.
It's civil.
And then what exactly are you this is the thing. You're putting yourself in a situation where you have to prove that something is not fake, right? Like, how do you prove you did not fake? Or how do you prove you did not know he was faking cancer? How do you prove that? And you have to convince 12 jurors who don't know jack about the internet or about what KayFabe might be or about who Boogie is. All they're going to hear is people saying faked cancer, faked sexual abuse, faked physical abuse. They're just going to hear that. And you open up your own show to being played in court, where Keem has even said and called Boogie out for pretending. So his own words could be used against him.
One of the components of defamation is that you have to prove that what Phil's saying harmed your business.
Yep.
Which means you have to say Dark Side Phil has such a reach and such an audience that his claim that the show is scripted caused many people to be influenced to not watch the show.
Which
so he's going to have to
You can't
You
prove,
can't
you
say
can't,
Dark Side Phil has influence.
right. Well,
He-
well,
no,
not even
do
that.
you really think Keem would want to give him that W?
Well, no, not even that. You can't even prove it analytically. They went from 5,000 to 20. All that happened is they went up in numbers. You can't prove it in analytics. You can't prove it in a hit to your income. You can't prove it in
Unless it drops off after the Boogie cancer situation. Now that that's resolved
But-
and figures just drop all of a sudden.
It won't work. It won't work because you're going to look at the timestamp of the live that DSP put out versus the timestamp of the time period of the analytics going up. So if Darkside Phil put a video out prior to their analytics going up, or it's continuing to put up lives while their analytics are staying steady, you can't say all of a sudden after multiple lives and multiple videos, he just got this massive influx of people, some massive crossover between Locale Live and whatever his show is called. And all of a sudden they just ran from Locale Live over to Darkside. It's not going to work.
out. Well,
Yeah, no.
there are a lot of people, is the thing, who've been saying that it's scripted. It started very early on into the show, calling the show scripted. So you would have to go sue individual members. You'd have to go sue Keno Casino. You'd have to go sue everyone who's kind of said that same defamation before Phil said it. Because his
I
defense
don't
can
know.
always be that it's common, that it's a part, like it's already part of the public eye. Like people have already been saying this line. It's a scripted show. Right.
I don't know what's worse about this. The fact that Keemstar actually thinks threatening a lawsuit is going to be able to do anything about it, or the fact that Darkside Field actually went and even if he doesn't believe it, he actually still went and changed the description on a video saying that it's his opinion.
True, but
He still did it. He still went and changed it.
True, but that's just a legal get around. But here's another thing. Darkside Phil could even argue that calling it KayFabe has become a part of the show itself. That it is just another part to make it more entertaining, that it's a way to interact and to bring up drama and to drudge it up. It's something that they can go back to the well on every single time, because all they have to do is get that big boosted numbers and then wait for one person to say it. And then boom. Oh, we're being told that we're faking it all over again. So how are you going to argue that calling the show scripted isn't part of the script? That is arguing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because how many,
fair point.
Because it's like watching a movie or watching a series that constantly breaks the fourth wall. It's just a part of the show. It's a part of the movie. It's a part of the series. It's a part of it in general. And at this point, calling it a work has become a staple of Locale Live itself.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, how long is the narrative of fake drama, forced drama? How long has that narrative been going on?
Right. Like,
You know
since
what I mean?
day
Like, for
one.
the longest time.
The whole time.
Exactly.
Since Wings first
So, I
quit.
mean, yeah, and that was what, like 5 episodes in?
Yup.
Like, or 4 or 5 weeks in? Like,
Yup.
Yeah,
but,
apparently.
I mean, go ahead.
Apparently, in the past, Keem has often fired co-hosts,
Yes.
and had this kind of like fake drama.
Yup.
So it's a thing that just follows Keem's name.
Well,
Really?
you have to remember that prior to Salvo getting way too deep in the White Pony, he actually was fake fired by Keem during the Keemstar show. And then he was actually fired after he was too far into the White Pony. That's cocaine for those uninitiated.
Hey.
Oh,
man, I don't know.
Yeah, I want my booger sugar, man.
Yeah, I don't want to turn around and just keep saying that it is a work. Obviously, certain things are made to be way more entertaining. It's the same thing as reality TV, right? Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It's a loose script. It's not,
Right.
okay,
Nope.
you're going to go into this place, you're going to say this thing, you're going to order this meal. No, it's like, hey, you go into here and maybe somebody you don't like is there. Maybe you will play it up for the camera. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't constantly be running into people you dislike. Not when you have Kardashian money, you know? Not when you can go buy
Right.
your own island. So it's obviously a loose script, and there's nothing wrong with it. And if you really want to get on top of it being a loose script, just say that it is. That's it. That's all you got to do. Say, hey, we don't fake everything. Like, yes, we have an idea of the direction we want to take the show, but it's not like we're writing out a script for it. We're not telling each other what to say.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I mean,
this
It's no different
Go
than
ahead.
what our show is. We have an idea. We have topics laid out,
Yeah.
but we're not telling each other what to say.
We do our research.
No, but that's it. But what I was going to say is the whole thing with the show right now is they've hit such a peak because of the whole Boogie faking drama, faking cancer thing, and then getting like the liar tattoo. And Keem said, when 70% of the audience says he can come back, Keem already walked that back and let Boogie back on the show. So now it's like, what's next? Like going back to just docket reading. I mean, I just don't see that happening because you always have to like one up what you just previously did to keep your audience. So how do they one up this? And I just don't know how they do it.
Well, it's tough. I think if they continue to punish Boogie, if they kind of say, you know what, you got a face tattoo, but that's not quite enough. You were kind of happy getting that tattoo. I don't really think it counts as a punishment. Maybe you should still be fired.
But they've already
you could
said,
do that.
they've already said, Keem already said though, like, or Boogie said, if I get this, the punishments are over. And Keem
Right.
basically
But
agreed. And then Keem even said, you can have your social medias back and all that shit.
But who is
Just
he?
so
who,
dumb.
who is he to decide that, though? This is the issue when you have a singular entity being the proprietor of everything. Because all Keem has to do is turn around and go, "Okay, Boogie, you don't want to do this? You're fired. I already own your." I mean, technically, he is fired. He already own. He could say, "Oh, I could just, I could just." But they're employees. They are not equal. If they were equal, nobody could fire the other person. It would have to be a majority rule. It would have to be a 3-1 vote, or it would have to be a 2-1 to neutral. So there is no way for them to be equal partners, which I don't think anyone ever believed in the beginning. Keemstar is right. He has the most money, the biggest pull, the biggest audience. There is no way he sees, I'm sorry, Boogie, Wings, and Tommy as equals. And it's very obvious that he doesn't with the way he talks to them and acts with them. They're employees. He even said on Chud Logic's stream, "You do not know what it's like to have employees." Correct. But I thought you guys were partners, not.
Well, see, two things to that. One, Wings even said, why didn't we talk about how we're going to get his shares? We think, Wings and Tom. Wings said we should have had a chance to buy some.
Yep.
And Keem gave that bullshit excuse or reason or whatever because he, and then Wings has also even said, if Keem leaves the show, he's quitting because he's the biggest draw. And, that whole thing with, Keem he's going to quit being on the screen. That's not going to happen. I don't see that happening at this point. Keem has
Not a
to be on the
chance.
show.
It's his side quest. He's not going to step out of the side quest.
No, but I mean, to Keem, it's more or less like I shouldn't have to be here. I should be sitting back and quote unquote collecting my 25%, which it's a lot more than that.
No.
But even then, though, like if Keem stops being on camera in front of everybody, being the biggest draw, and he says, "You three of my employees, you need to take over the show because that's what it's supposed to be in the very beginning." I don't even know how that's going to work at that point.
Well, then here's the other thing too, right? Is like, again, how can you see each other as I've never in my life had like a partner or a coworker that I got to a job site with and they were like, "All right, buddy, you go do it all by yourself. You do it." It's like, we're coworkers. If I was your employee, I understand. You're my boss. What am, other than saying no and risking my job, what am I going to do? How do you make that argument that we are equal, but I'm not doing work? It's like, you're an employer. You're an employer. Just say that. You're an employer. It's not equal. There is no shares. There is no 25%. Like, and even if there is actually a 25%, where is the legal document stating that everybody has 25% holding or 25% of the intellectual property? Like, where is that?
Oh, it's not real.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not real because
it doesn't exist.
Tommy said if he were to post the full NDA in public, it would end this myth on shares.
Right.
The other thing too is Tommy said multiple times, "I'm just a soldier. I do what I'm told."
Yup.
You think Tommy's gonna have that view if he's equal with somebody? Fuck no.
Nope. I sure as hell wouldn't either. Like it, and it would be the exact same thing here. If we at all at some point in time in the future got monetized or whatever, it wouldn't be any like, hey, behind the scenes or you can't talk about this. It would directly straight up be, hey, this is the situation, this is what we have to agree upon, blah, 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 and put it out there. And that's exactly what they should do themselves, because if Keem truly wants to defeat or to get over on this kayfabe allegation, why wouldn't you put out the NDA agreement? Like, obviously you can't turn around and put out specific things. Like, you don't want to dox anybody. You don't want to put specific email accounts, stuff of that nature.
They could redact all that.
Yeah,
though.
Exactly. And that's, again, like freaking Keem was saying to Boogie, all you got to do is show us the paper. All you got to do is show us the paperwork, bro. That's all you got to do. You know, but it's just like Chud said, rules for thee, but not for me, huh? Like, you know.
But is all this really surprising though? I mean, it's Keemstar.
No.
I mean, he is like one of the most legal, like happy dudes that like we have on the internet. I mean, let's be honest, it's Killer Keemstar. He's always talking about how he's gonna sue somebody for defamation and all this and that.
I got files and files.
Yeah, exactly. I got files and files. Like we've seen him talk so much shit all the time, and like how many times has he actually ever went through with actually filing lawsuits on people? Granted, there might be settlements behind the screens, and there may be conversations behind the scenes and all that, but it's Keemstar. So to me, all of this, like whenever I saw the NDA for Tommy, I was just like, really, Keem, you gotta this. It made me shake my head. I was like. God damn, man! Like, really?
Keem has a manager and a team. So he's going to be covered regardless. And it goes back to the Keemstar LLC thing. I'm pretty sure all of them made that up. As far as being the principal entity show, Keemstar LLC owns the rights to the show, the property of the show, and then like Lex was saying, 3 of them are employees, or even Keem's an employee to his own LLC, and then the LLC pays 4 of them for whatever reason, or not reason, for whatever amount. But yeah, it's just a lot of this shit's fishy. I hope nothing happens to Tommy for this. I'm sure nothing will, but at the same time, Keem knows if he gets rid of Tommy, then Keem's definitely going to have to be on the screen for 100% of the time because there's no other host. Because Boogie's a host, no, that's never going to happen. Wing says he can be entertaining enough to be a host, but I don't see that. Not the lockout community. I just don't see that happening.
Well, this is why I always say Keemstar is a lolcow, and he has been for a very long time. He's overreacting.
Oh yeah.
He's freaking out, threatening lawsuits. Like, you guys better shut up. The whole rules for thee and not for me. He told Boogie, if you have drama, save it for the show. Bring it on the show. But then once Tommy starts having a little bit of drama on Twitter, he doesn't then save it for the show. He goes on Chud Logic. He's giving Chud Logic free content. Why would he do that?
You want to know the difference between Keemstar and Boogie or Wings or Tommy C? Money. He's a lolcow with money.
Yeah. Yep. That's the only difference. He's just the same. And he has it's such a surprise because he's successful seemingly in his own life and in his ventures and the things that he puts out. So he's doing well financially and seems to be doing well. Like, he's not fat like the other lolcows, and he's not doing things as bad as they do, but he still is doing some ridiculous, dramatic stuff online and on live streams. And he always has such a crazy reaction to little things that he could easily handle. Like, he could say, I'm paying Boogie, but I'm not going to share financial information. That wouldn't be right. He could say, the NDA is for financials, and we'll deal with it behind the scenes. There's no reason to hash this out on Twitter. Sorry about that, buddy. Like, he could be a cool, calm, level-headed person, but he's not.
A lot of that's the character of who Keemstar is, though. He's super charismatic. He's super over the top. That's how he got his name. and the whole Federation of Asshole Gamers, that's who he was. That's how he built his reputation. So, I don't know how Daniel Keem is in person. Obviously, I've never met the dude. I probably never will. But the on-screen personality of Keemstar is over the top, takes shit to the next level. I want to do everything in public. I want all this shit done for content. And because he knows he's going to get donations, he's going to get content out of it, and they don't have to think of shit to do. So that's why, like, the whole, again, I've said this a million times, going back to just docket reading, I just don't see that in the near future of the show. You just don't. I think they're past at it. That's what sucks. Because again, how do you go past Boogie faking cancer, getting a tattoo on his face? Like, what's next?
Well, they've also just already said that they're not doing a normal schedule anymore. Like they've realized that this is where they should be, which is honing in on that drama aspect. And people like Lil Cow, yes, but it's better when it's live. Whenever there's random shit can happen, it's better whenever it's unpredictable. Whereas with the Sunday shows, I'm sure there are a lot of people who liked them, and I liked them myself, but I think they're realizing that those Sunday episodes don't. I mean, the live streams, they've said multiple times, are the main driver in money,
Definitely.
and they're definitely looking to focus in on that.
I'll tell you what's going to happen is Drama Alert's going to start up. Keem's going to go on Drama Alert, and suddenly Lolcow Lives are going to be happening less and less until they're gone. That's what happens next.
I think that's going to happen regardless. I mean, we're getting to a point where, like, how do you top Boogie faking cancer? Like, even if this NDA stuff makes it to a live stream, right? Oh boy, what the resolution is going to be? What, Tommy gets fired, and then what? They're looking for another host. Oh boy, we haven't seen this whole story arc happen before. Whoa.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I think they've peaked, and at this point, it's going to go lower and lower and lower, and then it's going to be to the point where Drama Alert comes back to YouTube. I give the show maybe a month or two after that, because Keem's not going to want to be on the show after doing Drama Alert. He's just not.
Was it a troll post? Was it a troll post whenever Drama Alert posted that Def Noodles was going to be the short form content creator?
I have no clue, but it does seem like Keemstar isn't going to be the person doing Drama Alert, because he did put out a post that very soon they were going to be revealing the new host of Drama Alert. And
yeah, it was going to, like, Def Noodles.
Short form.
Short form. He's talking about, when he says short form, he's probably talking about Snapchat, because it's still on Snapchat. They were just bringing it back to YouTube. But I think we're all here in agreement that it's not a very good look. If Keemstar really wants to get on top of the whole KayFabe allegations, he just needs to be transparent. And Keem doesn't like bowing. He doesn't like bending the knee. He doesn't like turning around.
He doesn't like transparency.
He doesn't like giving into the request of other people. He wants to have all the control, which I can understand, but
it's an L to him if he does that.
It is, yeah, because then it's basically him bending the knee to peer pressure. So, but I think we all are in agreement that it's starting to look more and more like KayFabe is the truth, at least some sort of loose script.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I'm with you. Got everything. I think we're good.
Yeah. You want to take us out, Zeph, seeing as how you did the least amount of talking?
Yeah, fuck you,
right,
Zeph.
I mean,
real quick.
There's a reason for that. I'll tell you guys off camera.
Hold on. Recently saw Deadpool and Wolverine.
I did. Yes, it was one of those.
Give us your take on that to close.
10 out of 10. Good laughs, good action, good cameos. There's a couple in there you're just not going to expect. If you're a Marvel fan and you've been waiting for a resurgence, this is going to be the movie you want to go see, because there's a lot of things that kind of like nice little bows, just kind of wrap things up, kind of explain how things happened and what's going on. So you kind of get a little bit of closure with certain characters that maybe you wanted to come back or were teased. And then you also get to have a great laugh while doing it. So
beautiful.
All right, guys. Well, that's everything for us. This is just our thoughts on what the NDA that's been outed at this point in time. And it looks like maybe we're going to have to wait for the next Lolcow Live to actually know what is going on. And I really hope they don't just gloss over this.
No, I don't think they will. I think Keem. I think
Hopefully.
at least they might gloss over it for a little bit till Tommy comes back. But we'll see.
I think I don't know if Tommy will bring it up on a shot from the. He may touch on it, but I think it'll definitely be talked about when he.
Yeah, I don't think Tommy lets this drop. I think he's going to be sure to rub Keem's nose in it until he admits or bends the knee or gives in or fires him. And any of those, I say Tommy wins and it's Keem's L.
100%.
Yeah, I got to agree.
Oh, well, we appreciate you guys. We're definitely keeping this show going. We're on the road to 50 subscribers, so we can start doing live shows. If you enjoy the content, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know the good, the bad, and the ugly if y'all want to, and we'll definitely give you a response. So thank you for your time, thank you for your ears, and we hope y'all have a good day.
Check us out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Later.